Good morning. Welcome to episode 43 of My Yarny Corner. My name's Alex and I live in Yorkshire in the UK, and this is a podcast all about knitting and crochet. So welcome everybody. I hope that you're all okay. It's so lovely to be back. As you all know, I've done Vlogtober, and I did say that I was going to keep the podcast going during Vlogtober, and I managed one. But with the MCAL, I just wasn't knitting on anything else. But I'm back today, all ready and raring to go for a podcast. I'll leave all the information about where you can find me in the description box below. I have been absolutely useless on Instagram this past few weeks. I'm so sorry if anybody's tagged me, messaged me, anything like that. I have been worse than useless on Instagram. I'm not great with social media at the best of times. It's just not my thing. And I do try hard for Instagram, but I haven't really been on. Our website is linked down below as well. Anything that we sell is on the website at myyarnycorner.com, which I'll pop onto the screen now. And you can find us on Patreon as well. In order to find our Patreon, you need to head over to the community post tab on YouTube, and there will be a link there for you to click. It's also on the website as well. And that's if you want to join us on Patreon. So I do have actually some finished objects. I'm quite shocked because it's been MCAL season, but I have some finished objects. So first of all, we're going to start with those. There's not a great deal of progress on much else at the moment, but we'll talk about that as we get into it. So finished objects. I have finished 2 pairs of socks. I can't actually show you them here because they're in the wash. I'm really sorry. But I'll put a picture of each of them on the screen here. The first pair were Danny's pair, which he had actually been knitting on himself as well. So they are partly knit by me and partly knit by Danny. And I managed to finish those for him, except I did my usual Alex style on those socks and made the leg on one sock 10 rounds shorter than the other. I don't know how I do it. I think it's the 3rd time I've done this now. They're only shorty socks, so they were only 30 rounds. And normally if I'm doing the foot of a sock, I'll put stitch markers every 10 rounds so I don't lose track. 30 rounds is not difficult to count, but I messed up. So he's got one sock shorter than the other. Don't matter. It's like this much. That's what I said to Danny. I'm like, it's this much. What are you moaning for? But yeah, they are finished. He's very happy with them, but I do need to make him some more. And the other ones were the gorgeous yarn. So sorry, the first pair of socks, Danny's socks, are the black and white ones. The yarn is hand-dyed by Danny as well. That is Danny's zebra colourway and Danny's grey yarn. So totally hand-dyed and partly knit by Danny, which I thought was amazing. And the other socks, the ones that I did for me, that was the amazing yarn that I won from Denise at the Day Designs podcast. So thank you so much, Denise, for that yarn. It is absolutely amazing. It's the Regia Zufari colour, and as soon as I saw it, I loved it. It comes in 50-gram balls. She did send me 2, so I made some actual proper length socks. 6-inch leg and everything. They are so cozy, and I had them on as soon as I finished them. So they are in the wash. I don't wash my socks regularly. I wait till I've used all of my socks, and then I wash all of my socks in one go. So when a pair of socks go into the wash, they're sat there about 3 months. Because it does take me a while to wear all my socks, and I like to wear every single pair. So I'll use them all, put them all in the wash, and then get them all back out in my basket. I've got like a little round basket where I keep all the socks, and I roll them all up and tuck them all in, all nice and neat like a big donut. So that is them. I feel like you're on the tilt. You are, look. There we go. So that is the finished socks that I have done, and now we shall talk about the MCAL. So, as you all know, I ummed and ahed so much about whether or not to do the Stephen West MCAL. You still feel like you're on the tilt. I've got a spirit level underneath the on the tripod, so you shouldn't be on the tilt at all. That's better. So yes, I was totally on the fence as to whether or not I was going to do the MCAL. I had in actual fact decided not to do it, And the reason I decided not to do it was because I couldn't finish last year's MCAL. The shawlography, I had started it, but I could not do the short rows. I tried and tried and tried and tried. And Mandy from the Mouse's Mates podcast tried to show me what to do. But I kept getting giant holes in my knitting. I just couldn't do it. And I still don't know why I couldn't do it, but I couldn't do it. So for that reason, I was really like, oh, am I going to be able to do it this time? But we were on Patreon Zoom and we were all chatting about the MCAL, and I just decided on a whim I was going to do it. Danny died with the yarn, and I did. I was, right, that's it, I'm doing it, decision made, and I am, oh, we were rudely cut off by a phone call then. I'm so sorry. So where was I up to? Yes, I had decided I was going to do it. Danny dyed the yarn for me, and I'm so pleased I did it. It was the most fun project I've done in such a long time. I enjoyed every second of it. Now, it was a lot of knitting. I was shocked because, like I say, I've never actually done the MCAL before, and I was kind of like, is this normal? But after speaking to a few people, it did seem that it was a lot of knitting. But I managed to keep up. I'm really shocked that I managed to keep up, but I didn't knit on anything else. I only knit on the MCAL, and I did socks in between. When I'd finished a clue, I'd just pick up a pair of socks. So, would you like to see it? It is, I should say, spoiler alert, for those of you that don't want to see the MCAL, I'm going to be showing it now, and I will put a timestamp on the screen for where you need to skip to if you don't want to see it. Right, so this is it. So this is section 1, clue 1. This is where we started. Not this bit here, just this bit here. And that was a lot of knitting. It was cast on, cast off, cast on, cast off, cast on, cast off, continuously. And then we moved on to clue 2, which is this one and this one. These are the wings. As you can see, it is very, very big. And then clue 3 was just these orange sections here. I have one on that side, and I have one on this side. And then clue 4 was this section here. Now this, I did the early bind off. This section here, oh, if I can just, here we go. It would come down further here, but because that is all quite in line with the rest of the shawl, that is how I liked it. So I did decide to do the early bind off, and also you could put I-cord loops through these cables, which I also didn't opt to do. I'm so pleased with my version. I really, really am. I'll pop it on so you can see what it looks like on. I've been wearing it this week. I had to go and get it out of the car to start the podcast and show you it. And she can't seem to, there we go. It's huge, absolutely huge. It comes right down. And it's so cosy and so snuggly, and you can wear it like that. You can, excuse my hair, you can wear it like this, and even though I've done the shorter version, it still comes down a nice amount down my back. I am just so pleased with it. It is full of mistakes, I'm not going to lie. I have made quite a number of mistakes, but I kept to Stephen's mantra, say yes, don't stress. And I didn't let a single mistake bother me. Now, let me see if I can find a couple to show you. So I definitely did some mistakes on here. It must be on the other side. These sections were really easy. So easy that I just kept totally losing track of what I was doing and doing it wrong. I can't see a single one, but there is one here. So you do this cable. And if you can see, where is it now? There it is. I misjudged which one I was on. It's so small, you are never going to notice that on there. That looks perfect. It isn't. I've done that 3 times where I've misjudged which one should be a twisted stitch and which one shouldn't, and I've gone completely wrong. but you can't see it in the grand scheme of the shawl. You just can't see it. There is another section and I can't even find it. I did an entire row wrong and I can't even find it. So this is done. You can do it with or without a cable needle. Because you're only twisting 2 stitches, it was a pain with a cable needle. It really was. So Stephen did have a tutorial on how to do it without a cable needle, and that was so much easier. A little bit fiddly to do it for the first couple of times, but once you got it, it was so much easier without the cable needle. So I did that without the cable needle. Where's my other mistakes? Here, the cables are supposed to come directly off these strips. And you see here, the lip follows straight on from the strip. On a couple of them, they don't. So I've obviously miscounted. Not on that side. Where's the other one? This one. This one is slightly off. I am so sorry for interruptions again. I've had no phone calls all day. The second I start filming, everybody needs to speak to me instantly. Right, that is it. The phone is on Do Not Disturb. Nobody is going to be ringing me. So, where were we? So, yes, it has a number of mistakes, but when you look at it, you can't tell. I'm beyond pleased with it. I'm so pleased I did it. It is just... It's one of those things I was incredibly proud of myself. It felt like such an achievement. I didn't run out of yarn. I have plenty left to go into another project, which I'm going to be talking about very soon. And yes, I will be taking part in the Hiber Knit Along, which starts on the 26th of December. I think the patterns are released on the 4th of November. That's when the sign up is. But it actually starts on the 26th of December. It's the Aurora... Is it the Aurora? No, it's the cabin shawl or something. He put a video up, did Stephen West, this morning. I was watching it. It's a lovely, lovely pattern. So I will be taking part in that. I would love a Stephen West kit, but they are so pricey. That's not going to happen. Danny will dye me some yarn for that. But yeah, so I will be taking part in that as well, which I'm really excited about. And I know that Mandy had said on her podcast, Mouses Makes podcast, that she was going to be holding a Stephen West knit along as well, which in the new year sometime. You'll have to go over to Mandy's podcast to get more information on that. I don't know enough about it or what she's planning to give you any more information on that, but I'll link Mandy's podcast in the description box below, and if you would like to join in another knit along, maybe head on over to Mandy's podcast and she'll discuss more about that, I should imagine, in the coming weeks. But yes, I am just beyond pleased. I am so precious about it. Nobody's allowed to touch it, nobody's allowed to look at it. I mean the cats here, not everybody in the house, just the cats. So yeah, that is that. Right, it's away. For all of you that didn't want to see, it's away. So shall we move on to works in progress? Because I do actually have some works in progress as well. I don't quite know how I've got works in progress, but I do. But first of all, a little quick discussion about what I am actually knitting on at the moment. I was knitting the Rocket DK. That was before the MCAL started. Now I won't get it out. It's away in hibernation at the moment. I'd got quite far. I'd finished all the body and I've only got the sleeves to do, but I am completely off garment knitting. I have got no motivation whatsoever for garment knitting at the moment. And that's fine. You know, this happens. You lose your sock mojo. This happens. It's completely normal. So rather than forcing myself to knit on something that I really don't want to knit on, I'm following what I enjoy and I am just knitting on the things that I do want to knit on, which at the moment is shawls. Who knew? I've never really been that much of a shawl knitter, but I just really am. Shawls and accessories at the moment and blankets is all I want to knit on. So that's what I'm going to be showing next. Right, so living in this bag, which is what I made myself. It's a bit of a scrappy bag. This was a free pattern. I showed it on the podcast a few weeks ago, and it's by Yarn Cafe Creations, and it's called the Autumn Hippie Shawl. And it's this one. And it's another scrappy inspired project. So I decided to start making this, and so far this is what I have. This is the right way. It's lovely. It's got some really nice texture on it here and here. And it's a really easy pattern to follow, and you can use, I don't know why that's folding up there, you can use lots of scraps on it as well. I'm actually using this one. This is all stash yarn, and I don't actually know the names. This one is one of Danny's, and I can't remember what it is. Oh no, hang on a minute. Yes, I do. Ta-da! This is Spring Awakening, and it's just designed to look like the fields that you get in the spring, where they're all just coming to life. You can see little peaks of pink in it and blues, but the rest of it is yellows and greens. It's a gorgeous colourway. So that's the ball that I'm just starting at the moment. I've used this one, which was a gift from my friend Shelley. This one is some Sheep on Mars that I've had in my stash for nearly 2 years. And I just had this tiny amount left. This one is one of Danny's. It's a blue one. It was a mini from one of the sock sets that I did. And this one is from my friend Jeanette at Crafty Clegs Creations. She gifted this to me last Christmas, I think it was. I made a hat with it, and then I've got this tiny little bit left. So I'm using all of those, and I'm really enjoying it. I've made lots of mistakes already in this section, but you can't tell because of the texture, so it's fine. It's not really there. But I love this bit. You see like these little bobbles on it, isn't it gorgeous? So I'm enjoying working on that. That's a pick up, put down. A little bit more concentration needed on this project than some of the others that I've got going on at the moment. So it's not difficult, you just need to concentrate just a little bit more on that. So that's work in progress number 1. Work in progress number 2 is living in this bag by Cabin Boy Knits, which was a gift from my friend Sue. And living in here is this blanket. So you all know that I watch Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful. Where's my crochet hook gone? I think I've lost it. No, it's not. It's there. And she advocates an ugly blanket. And her ugly blankets are never ugly. They are always beautiful. And every time I see Ali working on her ugly blanket, I think I really want one. So I've got so many DK weight scraps. I thought I'm just going to start an ugly blanket. So that is what I did. And it's just going to be a square blanket. No rhyme or reason to anything whatsoever. At the moment, I've been keeping the colour changes, keeping the rows right before I change colour, but I'm going to get to the point as it gets bigger to be changing colours halfway through a round, which is fine. Obviously, it's crochet, and I'm just doing a standard crochet granny square. The only thing that I do differently when I crochet a granny square is at the end of, when you get to the end of a round, you join to finish your round off, and before you chain up, flip the work, then chain up and start crocheting the other way. And that, when you do that, it keeps your square square, because sometimes it kind of warps it if you don't do that, and you get like this funny looking square. But if you do that, you'll get a square square. So that is that. And after I'd started it, I thought I wish I'd have done a hexagon blanket. That would have been so much nicer. So I may start a hexagon blanket as well. I do wish I'd have done that rather than the square, but never mind. I do like it. It's gorgeous. It's not really that ugly at all, but so it's going to be a really cosy blanket. So that is that. So my last project is living in this bag. Now this is one of my favourite bags. This is also from my friend Sue, and it's really big. My Stephen West lived in it, and as soon as that was finished, another project went straight into it. So I am taking part in Knitvent this year. It's the first year that I've done it. Now, initially, this is window 1. So what start again, Alex. What Knitvent is, it's a collection of patterns that are released each week for 5 weeks. During one of those weeks, you get 2 patterns. And there's generally a larger project and lots of small projects, things that you can make for gifts. You get the pattern on a Thursday. So last Thursday was week 1 and we got this amazing pattern, which I'm going to show you if I can find the cover page. For some reason I can't. So it's Helen Stewart of The Curious Handmade, and we got this amazing throw. It's called the Anthology Throw. It is beautiful. So this is designed to be used as an advent project, and it's designed to be used with 24 20-gram mini skeins. So the plan was to wait for advent and do it as my advent project. The problem being, when I finished my Stephen West, I felt completely lost. I had looked forward to making that every day, and I felt completely lost. And I had socks to work on, I had a shawl to work on, I had my ugly blanket to work on, but I missed having that really large project. So I thought, well, the only large project I've got is this one. So I thought, well, I'll just start it. I've got enough minis. I'm such a mini hoarder that I have enough minis. I've got loads of them. So I knew I could start it. So would you like to see it? So it's a circular blanket, and this is it so far. So I've just started colour 3. Now these yarns are out of stash. This one here, the one that I started with, is what my friend Annie gave to me when I went to meet up in October, and it's a Halloween yarn. It's beautiful. So the only sort of colour control I'm doing is just making sure whatever colour I put in sits with the previous colour. So I chose this colour because we've got very similar colours in here. And then I chose this colour. This is a variegated because it's got some yellow in it, which will match this. And I'm trying to do variegated plain. Whether or not I can, I don't know. But it's gorgeous. I'm really enjoying it. It has a lot of stitches on at the end, an awful lot of stitches. And I did think at the beginning, is that going to drive me mad? That's a lot of stitches to be contending with. But I'm going to be honest, this has to be the most relaxing project I've ever knit on. It really does. And I knit socks because they're relaxing, because they're mindless and you don't have to think about it. This is like knitting socks, just a very large version of socks. And you have these eyelet rounds splattered in, different types of eyelet rounds, so you can't quite memorise them, so you do need a little bit of concentration every few rows. Not every row, not every other row, just every few rows it'll say just concentrate a minute. So it's really keeping me interested. I've just got to the point now, I was started at Magic Loop, so I've just got to the point now where I'm off Magic Loop because it's big enough to go around, and this is a really big cable that I've got to go around, and I really like it. Isn't it gorgeous? Really wintry, autumnal, exactly what I wanted. So I am just, it's all I've been working on all week. I haven't picked up anything other than this and my ugly blanket this week. It's all I've worked on. So I'm really enjoying it. The next pattern actually comes out tomorrow. I never said that at the beginning, did I? Today is actually Wednesday, the 2nd. 2nd of November. So yeah, it's just, and that's it. That's all I've got for whips. Oh no, I have one more. I do have one more whip. Let me grab that. This is living in my bag that I got from Yarndale, and I've put some badges on the front. This one says, embrace bewilderment. Be a nice human. That says, no, I won't just stick to my knitting. And that says, stay weird. So it's living in this bag. And this is the library socks. I've shown you the library sock pattern before. This is a free pattern on Ravelry. And this is the pattern. It's the library sock pattern. And I have made it before, really enjoyed it before. So I wanted to make some more. Now the yarn is a yarn that I've not tried before. It's James C. Brett Funny Feets. Not that one. It's this one. And I got it in our local boys. And it's shade FZB14. You see that? It's a beautiful yarn. That's the yarn. And this is how it's knitting up. So you've got like this broken rib style of knitting, and then on the back it's just plain. So they're really, really easy socks. They're lovely. I'm not sure what the heel is in the pattern, but I always put the shadow wrap heel in. It's my favourite heel. And I'm doing 6-inch legs, so I'm nearly at that point, nearly at the point for the heel on those. And I've just got some undyed yarn for the heel, because I thought that would look really nice. Because it's a striped yarn, I don't tend to like to do the heels in the striped yarn, because I like the look of it as it is. So I do put a contrast in. I know it doesn't bother lots of people, and that's brilliant, but it bothers me. So I just like to have a contrast in. If it was just variegated yarn, I probably wouldn't put a contrast heel in. But I do prefer it on striped yarn. So that's just sock number 1. It's just plugging away. I would like these finished by the end of November, because I'm doing the Year of the Sock 2022 from Denise Deer. She's holding that for the entire year. And I don't think I've missed one yet. I got October's in by the skin of my teeth. So I would like those finished in November, otherwise I'll have missed a month, and I don't want to, because I've kept up with it so well. And that is everything for the knitting. So let me just pop that down there. So, first of all, before I get into anything else, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody that visited the shop last night. We had the update last night on the shop, on the website. And for those of you that have come over and supported us, thank you so much. Yeah, just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you. So we're busy getting orders ready. I need to check on the postal strikes. The plan is to ship tomorrow, but I just want to make sure we don't hit a postal strike, because we've got so many in the UK now. I believe the current ones have been cancelled, but I want to double check before I ship. I'm very concerned that if I ship parcels and then it hits a strike day, they just get left in the warehouse, and then there's a backlog of parcels, and I don't want anything to be caught up in it. So I'm just keeping my eye on them strike days. But yes, thank you so much for the support last night on the website update. We were so pleased, so thank you for that. And yeah, that has been everything. We've had Vlogtober, which has just been amazing. I have loved every second of it. So has Danny, and so has Finn. We've enjoyed spending every day with you all. We are going to be doing Vlogmas, so I'm already looking forward to Vlogmas. It felt really weird yesterday morning when I got up and there was no vlog. I was like, oh, well, what am I going to do now? But I've had some lovely messages off you all, some lovely comments. I'm still a little bit behind on the comments. I'm catching up. It's been a little bit of a busy week this week, what with school, one thing with school, one thing with the other school, and getting ready for the update. We had patron Zoom last night, and as you know, my eldest moved out, so I wanted to go and see his new house. That was yesterday. So yesterday was so busy. We didn't stop. I think we got up really early as well, and it was just flying from thing to thing yesterday. By the time I got to Zoom, I was like, oh, relax. It was really busy. So I'm hoping it'll be a quieter week. Well, it's not going to be quiet for the rest of the week, but a quieter weekend this weekend, so I can just catch my breath a little bit and just unwind a little bit. But we've certainly had a lot of fun. Vlogtober was just amazing. There was so many amazing vlogs, and I was just so pleased that you came to spend time with us on ours. And yeah, so that's about everything, I think. I'm not sure if this episode has been slightly shorter than normal or not, because I've had so many phone calls. I've had to keep restarting the camera, so at this point it says 9 minutes, but I can't remember how long the other clips were. So I've no idea how long this episode is. But I shall be back in a fortnight with another episode. And then we'll be back in 4 weeks for Vlogmas as well, which will just be fab. So thank you all, everybody, for coming over to spend a little bit of knitting time with me today. And I hope that you're all okay, and I hope that you're having a lovely, crafty week, whatever you're knitting on. Let me know in the comments what you're working on. And yeah, let me know if anybody else is doing Knitvent too. It would be nice to follow along with a few of you that are doing Knitvent as well. And yeah. And if you're still on your Stephen West, embrace your pace. As Stephen says, do not feel the need to rush. Go at your own pace. It doesn't matter if you don't finish the MCAL till Christmas, this Christmas, next Christmas, the Christmas after. It's embrace your pace. And that's what we should all do. And what I'm trying to be more like that with my knitting, you know. I'm trying to, sometimes when you have a podcast, you're feeling the need to have lots of content to talk about. And I've fallen into that trap many a times where I think I've got nothing to talk about. I'll just cast on a new project. And yeah, it's a trap that's easily fallen into, and I'm trying to be a little bit more mindful with what I'm doing and making sure that I realise that I knit for a hobby, not for any other reason. If I only want to work on one project for 2 weeks, then that's okay. I can work on one project for 2 weeks. I don't have to stress myself out over it. So I hope that you all just do the same thing and just enjoy whatever you're doing, knitting, sewing, crochet, English paper piecing, which I think is amazing, and just enjoy it. So I'm going to see you all in 2 weeks. We'll be back for Vlogmas, and if you're a patron, there'll be vlogs going up before that. And there is a patron announcement coming as well, so keep your eye out if you're a patron for that. So I will see you in 2 weeks, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Bye bye.